What's up everybody, my name is Alex Russell and I am a beginner videographer or content creator. So this is my first video in my pursuit to become a professional promotional videographer. You just saw that SodaStream clip I created. It was a random idea that came to me the other day. I was thinking, how can I show the level of skill that I have right now, show you what I can and can't do with video creation, and really set the bar at my entry into this industry. Now, long story short, I wanted to cover in this video, without getting into the nitty-gritty of things, the start of my journey entering into this market, and where the idea came from for a random person like myself to dive headfirst into the deep end of the video industry and see if I can make a career out of it. I also wanted to start this channel to bring you all along with my development and allow you to see how a beginner thinks when it comes to setting up shoots or lighting or shot planning, because I noticed that there's a lot of professional YouTube content creators out there showing you this side of things, and that's where I learn a lot of my stuff from, but they've had years and years of experience in the industry. They've probably been doing it for over 5 years, so it's really hard for them to relate to a beginner like myself when it comes to setting up a shot and really, for lack of better words, dumb down how they actually present the situation and present the scenario so that somebody like myself with no experience can understand what they're talking about. So background on me, I had and still kind of have no experience in the industry. I have no experience in lighting, no experience in camera work, camera settings, audio, nothing more than what you would do with a phone when you point and shoot at a product and see how it goes. I had a good business mind, or have a good business mind, because I run my own business, and I understand what I want from a shot or what I want from a video. I just don't know how to get there yet. I had an old Xiaomi 7 mobile phone that I used, and pretty much just pointed it at the product, shot it, and just started creating videos from there. And now before we get any further, let's just take a look at those old videos that I was creating at that level, and you can have a judge at how terrible they really were. So you're probably thinking, Alex, mate, you ain't gonna get very far with those video skills. It's just one of those things. That's how you start out, right? As a beginner, start out, you develop yourself until you get to a level where you've been doing it for a few years, and you can really stand out in the crowd. After that, I started watching a huge amount of YouTube. I looked at top promotional content creators like your Daniel Schiffers, your Peter McKinnons, as everybody knows, and I stumbled upon this cool alcohol or non-alcoholic drink, they were starting to take off globally from where I'm from, which is New Zealand, and really wanted to try and shoot something for them and see how it goes. So I researched further on videos and how I could take my skill level to that next level, and I realized that lighting was probably one of the most important parts, especially when it's social media, because your TikToks, your Facebooks, they all max out at 1080p anyway, so you don't need a huge, massive camera. So I bought myself these terrible little LED panels, LED photography panels, you would say, because they were cheap and they seemed like a good entry into the market. And then I figured out that shooting on a black canvas or a black backdrop was probably the easiest thing you can do when creating a video, because it hides all the lighting errors, it hides all the focus errors that you'd generally create as a beginner. I grabbed one of this company's dark rum drinks, rum flavored drinks, and shot what I thought was a pretty good video for a pretty rubbish phone camera and a pretty minimal skill level. So let's see that video, you can judge for yourself. Not bad for an old Xiaomi phone and minimal skill level from somebody like myself, right? So astonishingly enough, this company actually reached out a few weeks after and asked if I could shoot 6 of their drinks for Amazon overseas because they were launching global. And so I thought, well, this is going to be amazing, right? And you'd think I'd be jumping for joy, but I really wasn't. I was petrified. I was super scared. I knew really nothing about the industry. It was my first paid gig, so as you are, everybody's nervous at that situation. But I knew I had to suck it up, dive in the deep end, and just learn as I go and grow my skills. Otherwise, I'd lose the opportunity. There was an issue with it. I didn't have a camera. I didn't have like proper lighting that I needed. I just had a pair of those really terrible little LED lights, and I had to shoot these, high-end 6 flavors of their drinks. I thought I had to purchase everything in one go, right? You watch all the YouTubers, they say you need this, and you need tripods, you need cameras, you need sliders, you need gimbals, you need microphones, you need blah, 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 and it can get super overwhelming. But really you don't. If you want to get into it, get a camera that you can start out with, start shooting some shots. If people want you, just use the same camera, shoot the same shots, because they obviously liked your creativity, because that's why they reached out to you, right? So I was super honest with them, and I stated that I had to purchase a camera and lighting for the shoot, and that I was a beginner, and really they loved my creativity and my honesty around it, and they were happy for me to go ahead with the gig. I did mention that I wanted a deposit for the shoot to purchase the camera, because it's always good to get a deposit when doing these video jobs, I've noticed and heard from a lot of people, in case you go back and forth with the client all the time and you don't really get anywhere, and then they decide to scrap it all. So you've spent all that time preparing stuff when they're not even going to go ahead and pay you anything. So I purchased a Lumix GH5, which was probably the best, cheapest entry into the camera market for 4K. Got myself a newer key light, which was really cheap, and then started shooting. And man, oh man, did I make so many mistakes. Most of the time I'd have too much lighting on the product and I'd oversaturate it, as they say. I'd have to reshoot. I wouldn't have it in focus, so when I brought the shots to the computer to check them all out, they were all out of focus. I'd have to reshoot. There was a time where I spent probably a day shooting all the shots, and then at the end of the day I realized that I needed a different aspect ratio, or a different like I needed it to be in portrait rather than landscape as the cameras create initially. So I had to reshoot, and it was all massive experience, massive learning experience. It was frustrating, but I learned so much from it that I wouldn't have got otherwise being thrown in the deep end. So anyway, you get what I mean. I had to learn everything on the job as I was creating these videos, and it took forever. Finally, after a couple of weeks, I completed the videos, I sent them in, they signed them off. I feel like they turned out really good. I'm super proud, I'm super happy with what I created from that experience. Now, let's take a look at the videos, and you can really judge for yourself what I did right and what I did wrong. Give me some feedback in the comments. Perfect. Alright, so they're not Daniel Schiffer material in any means, right? However, I'm super happy with how they turned out, and I'm proud of the fact that I had the confidence to shoot them in the first gig, even though I was getting paid for it. One thing I will say is you should never compare your beginning to somebody else's middle, and that's what a lot of us do. I know I do it on a regular, especially watching these top professional YouTubers that have had 5-6 years of experience in the industry. It's really important not to judge your videos and your skill level against theirs, because they've created probably hundreds or thousands of videos, and you've probably only created a few right now as you're learning and as you're growing. So moral of the story from this is, don't be afraid to start something just because you think the barrier of entry is too high. It's better just to jump in the deep end, see how it goes, take the risks, take the opportunities, and a door will open up for you, pretty much guaranteed, right? It's the start, it's a new adventure for me. I'm excited to see what see what happens and see what kind of path opens up for me. Thanks very much for being on this journey with me. I'm really excited to see what happens, and I love having you guys along the way. See you guys in the next one.